Bienvenidos and welcome back to Puro Pinche Gol, a place where we discuss all things USMNT y la selección mexicana. My name is Adrian. Joining me once again, my co-host, Los Tocayos, Adrian. Adrian, what's good, brother?
Hey man, what's up? It's kind of late over here, dude. I know it's an hour behind in Mexico, but damn, these
Yeah,
games are getting later and later, dude.
I know it, man. But it was a comfortable win for Mexico,
Mhm.
3-0 against Panama. And that's subject to today's video, man. 6 things we learned from today's match. A lot of positives. Real quick, if y'all guys did not catch the 6 things we learned, USA Jamaica, make sure y'all go check it out. We published it right after the match last night. So be sure to check that one out. And if y'all are wondering why I'm wearing glasses here at almost 12 p.m., 12 a.m., I have pink eye in my left eye, so you have to deal with me wearing glasses for this video. But Adrian, man, before we kind of get through the 6 things that we kind of take away from this game, why don't you kind of go through our stats for the match?
Yeah, man. I mean, for those who are watching this, tomorrow or later in the rest of the week, Mexico won 3-0 against Panama. With the stats as follow. So at the end of the match, Panama had more possession, 59% over 41 of Mexico. But as you were mentioning before we started recording, pretty much Mexico gave up the ball after the 60th minute. um, Mexico had a total of 6 shots. All of them were on target, so that's actually that's actually pretty good. Panama had 18 shots, only 5 on target. Um, Corner kicks, 7 for Panama, 4 for Mexico, 2 each for offsides, 10 and 11 faults. So 11 Mexico, 10 Panama, 1 yellow card each. And that's pretty much all the relevant ones. Yeah. If you look at the numbers without actually taking in consideration the score, you would think that Panama kind of sort of dominated the match. Um,
Mm-hmm.
or yeah, I guess, or maybe I wasn't even match, but
Yeah, parejo, yeah. But
yeah, but yeah.
the score line says different, and
Hmm.
like I said before we started recording, Mexico took their foot off the gas after 60 minutes. So that's kind of when Panama kind of stat padded. But let's get into it. Like we said, nothing but real in comparison. If you watch the USA when we had a lot of negatives for that match, it was not the greatest of matches for the USMNT. Here, it's going to be opposite. Mexico had a lot of positives, man. Starting off with someone that we said should probably not be starting anymore, but he still starts in between the goalposts, Memo Ochoa. Always clutch for la selección. We saw when Mexico was up 2-0. Panama had like around the 55th minute 2 opportunities back to back. One right in front of Memo. I think it was Waterman that backheeled it to the other forward, and the other forward just hit it like within 3 feet of Memo, and Memo still blocked it. But Guillermo Ochoa proving, I guess, again why he at 36 years old he's still starting. And I mean, positive actuación.
You're not wrong. Yeah, he had a really good match. It just pisses me off that every single time we claim or ask that he gets removed from that starting 11 position, he just goes out there and puts up a show. It's good to see him, still have those reflexes and still coming clutch for Mexico needs him, even though he's bench and he's not having the best season so far. But yeah, I still want to see someone else in the goal, man.
Even after that positive display. Yeah, I mean, like we
Yeah.
said in the video, we'll link it at the end of this video. The video where we discuss who's going to replace Memo Ochoa in the long term and short term. Memo might have the short term, unlock here for the next maybe year or two, but it's definitely time. I think we both agree, and a lot of Mexico fans agree to start maybe that transition. Even though
Yes, sir.
he always is clutch for Mexico.
Hmm.
But moving on, another positive here, we have Edson Alvarez El Machin, who not only did he dominate the midfield, great at distributing, great at winning the ball back, just bossed the midfield completely. Can be seen why he's one of the West Ham's best players, why Chelsea wanted him, why he's one of the EPL's best, center mids. And yeah, I mean, not only did he do that, he scored a goal, a great header from set piece from Luis Chavez, and great cross, and Edson just buries it for the first goal.
What can we say, man? I mean, he's perhaps or arguably the best Mexican player as of today, right? It's nice to see him putting up a good display. It's nice to see him to feel comfortable and natural with El Chiquito Sanchez and Luis Chavez around him. Good display, strong one. I'm glad to see that he's participating on the set pieces and providing aerial support when needed. Good fellow, man. Perhaps the only Class A player that Mexico has.
And he was taken off pretty early on, around the 68th, 70th minute, I believe it was, for,
Mm-hmm.
deserved, to the applause of the fans there, and another great performance. And he's going to be wanting to replicate that performance on Sunday against the USMNT for sure.
Yeah.
But Edson Alvarez and Machin, another positive there. Moving on, another positive, the back two, Vasquez and Montes. What can be said? I mean, at this point, we discussed previously in the preview how Cesar Montes hasn't been playing much. Johan Vasquez has been great in Italy. And we were wondering, obviously Jimmy has his core, and these two are his back two core, but we were kind of
Mm-hmm.
questioning how Cesar Montes would perform from not being in the greatest form, right? And
Mm-hmm.
both of them, I mean, they stepped it up. They weren't challenged much. They did well, right?
Yeah, they actually did a pretty decent job. It's unfortunate to see that Johan Vasquez went off injured or with some molestias on him. But yeah, I also want. I mean, if you look at the stats, you think that Panama was pretty much uh, besieging or freaking hitting Mexico so hard, and you would think that these two had a lot of work to do. But I think they weren't. It wasn't a big challenge for them, but when they were required to step up and rise for the challenge, they did. Uh, so
Yep,
it's nice to see that Cesar Montes is still, even though we all think that he might not be match fit, that he shows up, that he's ready to put up a good show.
for sure. Moving on, the only neutral, Julen Araujo, he got the start. We didn't expect him to get the start. He didn't play fantastic in the cameo he made, and to make matters worse, he got an injury. Right, he was taken off. So Julen Araujo, someone who we've been saying should be starting, should be given a chance, was probably the weakest member of the back four. But not bad enough to get a negative. I don't think anybody on Mexico deserves a negative. Everybody played decent to great. But he in resume, in summary of his performance of the night, an injury, not the greatest performance in the wide back position, and the only real big neutral for Mexico.
Yeah, and it's gonna be interesting to see how if El Jimmylozano tries, or tries the his staff tries the best to bring him back to fitness for the match against the USMNT. Because if you look at the roster of players available to him, you have Jorge Sanchez and Eric Aguirre, and Lozano decided to play Jorge Sanchez ahead of sorry Eric Aguirre ahead of Jorge Sanchez tonight, and just that's because. I'm still confused. I don't know if Jorge Sanchez was suspended or if he wasn't, I guess, called up for this specific match due to injury prevention. But I mean, it's interesting to see if Julian Araujo is fit, and if Eric Aguirre has to, stand up to the challenge, rise up to the challenge. We shall see. Eric Aguirre is not the strongest defender out there. But hey, that's all we have.
Yeah, moving on to the next one. You mentioned Jimmy Lozano, so I'm gonna use this kind of as a transition.
Mhm.
Jimmy, another positive. I think he did exceptional when required to make those changes when Julian went down. We saw his formation, or not his formation, his his tactics work. He got three early goals, and he was able to rest the majority of his star players for the Sunday match. USMNT had to go 120 minutes. Here, Jimmy had a comfortable win. Maybe I'd say the most comfortable win he's had as a
Mhm.
eltri coach. Um, Everything just sparked for him, and yeah, I mean, he had a great performance.
I agree. I think he learned a lot from that match last summer against Panama in the final of the Gold Cup, and he put up a good show today, man. He showed up that he's one that studies the opposition, that knows how to neutralize them, and adapts his game style or a strategy to what it's going to create more challenge for the opposition. But yeah, I think it's a positive because he won, comfortable win, good show of tactical knowledge. But I want to see this level of tactical knowledge implemented against a tougher team.
Yeah, sure. Um, in our last one of the night, our last positive, the man who got his first goal for eltri, Julian Quiñones. Quiñones, who we know, he's been for eltri now since late summer, right? It's kind of when he
Yeah,
made that
yeah,
change, and someone who has been, in search of his first goal. He's been playing well for eltri, well for America, and it was almost ruled offside, but
yeah.
ultimately given, and solid performance for Quiñones.
Yeah, it was a good display for him, and I was kind of surprised to see how jimmylozano took a risk and sat down one of the holy cows in Mexico from in the name of Irving Lozano, and decided to play Henry Martin with Julian Quiñones, knowing pretty well that they both really mesh well, right? I mean, they both play in America. They know what's the game style of each one of them, and they really understand when to make those moves, right? It's like pretty much playing in automatic or in auto
In
mode,
sync,
essentially.
yeah.
Yeah, in sync, exactly. So I think that's great. Good display for Julian Quiñones, and I do want to give him additional kudos because even though he is a attacking player, you also saw him, running pretty much down the pitch, trying to recover the ball, providing coverage for the defenders. I mean, it just goes to show that this guy is ready to, just sacrifice himself for the benefit of the team.
Yeah, he was also very good on defending set pieces,
Hmm.
which is an underrated, part of his game. But yeah, I mean, like we said, Mexico won comfortably, 3-0. Really nothing but positive to say about this match. We'll see how they perform against the USMNT on Sunday. Can Jimmy do this tactical masterclass against Triple G? Not that that's too difficult against Triple G, but yeah, definitely one to watch on Sunday, and we'll be here on Puro Pinche Gol, doing our preview and definitely our 6 things we learned after the match. Adrian, man, as we wrap up this episode, brother, where can our listeners find us?
They can always find us on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on the notifications. You can also find us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast on. Last but not least, you can also find us on Instagram. We post stuff every now and then.
Yeah, be sure to follow us and be sure to subscribe if you haven't. We're getting close to that 500 subscriber mark, and we're going to be doing a giveaway here soon. We'll be posting a video with instructions on that as we approach the 500 subscriber mark. And let us know in the comments below. Who was your standout performer for Mexico, if you could choose one, because I think everybody performed, really well. Are you happy with the formation that Jimmy chose? Were you hoping to see santigimenez? Do you think santigimenez will make an appearance on the Sunday match against USMNT? Definitely let us know in the comments below. Adrian, man, another good episode. It's getting late, so I'll let you get to it.
All right, man. Take it easy. See ya.
See ya, man.